Spursy Spurs. What's up, guys? I'm back. It's been a couple days since I last posted, but a lot has gone on. A lot of bad has gone on. Today I got a video for you guys. A good discussion with one of my friends from college. We talk about just kind of the state Tottenham is in currently. We talk about Mourinho. We talk about VAR. He brings up a lot of good points, and I think it's an interesting discussion. So I hope you guys enjoy. Here we go. All right, guys, this is my friend Steven. Say what's up, Steven.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Okay, I didn't send this to you in the list, but I did want to just hear. I don't think I've ever asked you this before, but how did you become a Spurs fan in the first place?
You know what's funny is I watched a clip of your first video from when you introduced yourself and how you became a Spurs fan.
Yeah.
So growing up, also, when I played FIFA, I never wanted to play with the best team. Really loved watching and playing with Luka Modric and Van der Vaart at the same time. They were so much fun to play with. They were never the best. And then when I started actually watching them, when I was probably in like 8th or 9th grade, when once soccer became more mainstream on American television,
Right.
They were always fun to watch.
Yeah.
Before he came in, I would say they were really fun to watch. And they weren't going to win every game, but they were going to be goals. And they played with heart. And it's funny because this is not a very typical answer, I think, but my first favorite Spurs player was Michael Dawson because he just felt like a captain to me. Big, burly English fella, was going to put his body on the line every week and played with a lot of heart. And I feel like watching that for me it's just what I wanted to see in a team that I wanted to support.
Well, you come from a little bit different background because I know you played soccer growing up all throughout high school, correct?
Yep.
I only played recreationally. I never played organized soccer. So, just that interesting thing about Michael Dawson, I just grew to like Gareth Bale just because he's the flashy guy scoring all the goals. But it's funny that you picked out Michael Dawson as your favorite because, he's definitely not flashy, but he got the job done for sure.
Yeah, and I'm a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I've been a goalkeeper. That's the only position I've really ever played. So I kind of understand the being undervalued thing. And I've always more close to the defenders and the job that they do. So, I mean, we had Brad Friedel for a long time as well, and we've seemed to always have at least an American.
I was about to say that. Yeah, they seem to always have at least one American on the roster. I don't know if that's for some people think that's for marketing purposes, but we've had good Americans. So
I think Friedel was really good.
He was.
And what I've seen, it was his birthday recently, and Spurs posted a video from his time at Tottenham, a highlight video, and all the replies from English fans was, he was amazing. We really appreciated it. He was really good.
Mr. Consistent.
Yeah, that's the thing, because when Gomez was in goal, he was a good shot stopper, but he was not consistent.
Right.
So I think to Friedel back there was big, and when we signed Clinton Dempsey, I mean, he was a good player at Fulham.
Yes, he was.
Over 20 goals one season in the league. And so signing, I think, was because he was a quality player and we saw his potential. But I still think DeAndre Yedlin, I don't think we ever had any plans to play him. I don't think he was ever good enough. I don't think we thought he was good enough. And I think that was a financial decision, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I think we got him for maybe $4 or $5 million at the time. I don't really remember, but, I was under the impression that he was going to become the next Kyle Walker because they kind of had similar play styles, except he was not as good defensively as Walker, obviously. But I mean, he's a decent player for Newcastle. It seems like the Newcastle fans like him.
He is a decent player for Newcastle, and I think he's become better than I had anticipated. And you're right,
Me too.
He's a good player. When he was at Spurs, he was kind of down the pecking order. I feel like we always had two right backs ahead of him.
Yeah, he never really got his fair shot, in my opinion. I only remember him playing one game in the Premier League.
At his age, in the MLS, he was able to cover up for his defensive deficiencies just by being really quick and athletic. And I think once he got to the Prem, you need to be able to play with your feet regardless and be able to defend. And he wasn't there yet. But I love watching him for Newcastle.
Me too. Yeah, I don't want to get too off topic, but that could be a whole other discussion maybe next time we can go into the American team because that's a whole other can of worms. Pulisic is killing it right now, by the way.
Killing it.
Yeah. Okay, so just give me your quick thoughts on our last game against Bournemouth. I'll let you take the floor. Just go ahead.
Sure. So I tried to write a list of positives and negatives, and I started with the positives. I wanted to be easy on myself because it was a really short list. I do think that if the penalty is called, it's a different game, and Mourinho said that if the penalty gets called and it was a penalty, the game changes. But I still think that the way he set us up was to fail. He set us up to fail. And that they're a team with no confidence. They have not been playing well.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to sit back and play on the counter and give them a little bit of belief, which is what they've been lacking. They're not a bad team. You know, they've got some quality there. So I think the two positives were that we kept a clean sheet, which we haven't really been able to do, at least earlier in the season.
That's true.
And that scored the penalty, which we should have. It's a different game.
No,
go ahead.
I was talking to my friend Jong from Korea, and setting up that defensively has to rub off on the players' just mindset to be creative and express themselves with how they play. So, but I think what he is doing is trying to just, like you said, shore up the defense, not concede, and then he'll figure out how to attack. But what kind of formation are we playing? Like a 4-2-3-1, would you say, or?
It's a great question, and I thought the same thing yesterday when I saw the lineup come out, because it looked like a 4-2-3-1 with Winks and Sissoko holding. The problem is that we're so defensive, it's really difficult to see how we look with the ball, because we don't have the ball. And so defensively, we're playing the way Mourinho teams play, which is to defend relatively deep. We don't press at all until they enter our path. We make things nice and tight. And I just feel like it's a hard question. I'd like to see us play a 4-3-3 where Lo Celso is a little bit higher than Sissoko, but I don't even see that. I don't see that happening. And my question, and I saw somebody say this on Twitter yesterday, was like, what are they doing in training during the week?
Mm-hmm.
It does not look like we have any sort of tactical plan. So I don't know. I would like to say we're playing a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, but it's different when we have the ball and when we don't have the ball. And the problem is that we never have the ball even.
I know, it's crazy. Literally, we were getting peppered for the first 30 minutes of that game. Had no possession. It was blowing my mind that a team, I think they're 19th. Yeah. And I saw a stat on Twitter that said, we didn't have a shot on goal the entire game. That was the first time that Bournemouth, since 2015, they didn't.
They were in the championship against Middlesbrough.
Crazy.
I saw the same.
Crazy.
Blew my mind.
Yeah. I wonder how Mourinho just thinks. I still trust in him. I don't know how you feel about him, but I don't know. Do you think he should get a whole nother season, or what do you think?
My verdict is to give him a season.
Me too.
I don't see any benefit now from sacking him, especially this early on, and I just think that's across the board. Even with, Man United and their coach with Solskjaer, he was doing well at the beginning. You give him some time, let him make a signing or two, and I don't think that these are similar situations. They're completely different situations, but I think, generally speaking, you've got to give the man time, show that he has a plan.
Right. That is, they do kind of follow similar paths, though, because when Oli first got there, they played really well, and then they had a huge dip of form for a long time, and everyone was saying for him to leave. When Mourinho first got here, we did get some good results, and now we're hitting our dip of form. So, maybe, I can't believe what Bruno has done for that team. It's been unbelievable.
The penalties help, but I agree he's been incredible.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you have Paul Pogba sitting on the bench every week, or being injured rather, and then he can come into your side, he was the world record signing. So all of a sudden to have come in like a new signing, to have those two running your midfield, I wish we had that luxury.
We do have Ndombele sitting on the bench every week, and I don't know how you feel about him, but I think, man, he could be so good.
He looked really good.
I know. I can't believe he can't get a game. It's unbelievable to me.
Against Bournemouth, and with the substitutions, I thought the substitutions were bad too. Sissoko has started every match. You'd think he'll probably start against Arsenal if that's how Mourinho sees it.
Yeah.
So for me, the substitutions were, he took off Lo Celso and Bergwijn, which I thought was. I've heard Lo Celso took a knock at halftime. That's fine.
I think he could be saving him too for Arsenal.
Probably saving him.
Yeah.
I just didn't really. I thought Lamela, and Lamela's my favorite player, by the way. Not because
really?
He's the best player. He's always been my favorite player on Spurs.
I love Lamela too.
He just. I won't get into why necessarily right now, but he's always my favorite player. He was horrific yesterday. Horrific.
I told you I was punching my couch. He was the main reason I was punching my couch. He holds the ball way too long, and just time and time again.
Normally, he'll at least give you some creativity in the final third.
Right.
And he'll lead the press, which we don't do anymore, but he'll make tackles. He's intense. His tackles yesterday mistimed on the wrong parts of the pitch. He didn't complete a pass. So for me, if you're going to throw on a winger like Sonny, then take off somebody like Lamela who's playing in that front three or front four, right? So that was wrong. And if you're going to bring on another midfielder like Ndombele, take off Sissoko, who's played every minute, who you want to save his legs, and then it's a like for like change. And so for me, that was just bizarre.
What do you think about who do you think should be playing the number 10 for us, in your opinion?
I mean, I think Dele would be the natural choice if he was healthy.
Even he's not a natural number 10 to me. Like, he is good at that role, but he's not like, he's more of a goal scorer number 10. I think we need a creative type of number 10.
It would be Lo Celso. Ideally, it would be Lo Celso. Because Sonny's a winger, Lucas is a winger, Bergwijn's a winger.
Lamela can't do it, in my opinion. Earlier in his Spurs career, he was, like you said, like he would play those final passes to Kane. Like, he would look for him every single time, and now he's almost just like a midfield bruiser who can't really play that final pass. I don't know what the deal is with him, but
I agree with you. And I think Lamela is not a starting at a team like Tottenham, and especially with how many options we have now in the final third with those top 4 players. I think Lamela's a bench player, and I'm okay with that.
Me too.
I think he's really good to come off the bench or to start against teams that really like batten down the hatches. A team like Bournemouth, who we would expect to defend in their own half most of the game, I think Lamela is a good creative player to sort of unlock them. He's got a lot of flair, and he's that kind of player that you want when you have a lot of the ball and you need to find a way to break down defenses. But for me, he's not going to progress the ball. He's going to lead the press if we had one.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not Lamela either. It's Lo Celso in a 4-2-3-1.
Okay, interesting. What about Ndombele? Do you think he could play a 10?
No, I think he's an 8 or a 6. I think you play him with Sissoko if you want another creative player, or you play him with Wink. I don't see Winks in Sissoko as a midfield working.
I think Winks is a very good player, and he has the potential to be very good. But we could sell him for a lot of money because he's English, and maybe use that money, wisely, hopefully.
I would keep Winks. That's just my opinion, because I don't know who we signed to replace him that would do a better... Because at the end of the day, he's in that Lamela range where he's probably not a starting quality player.
A good squad player.
And it's hard to sign a squad player of his quality that's English.
That's a good point.
So I just don't know, but I hear you.
Yeah. Any other players you would sell? What would be the number 1 player you'd want us to sell to fund a purchase?
I mean, the 4 that I think are definitely gone. So Vertonghen, Vorm, Rose, and Kyle Walker-Peters, I would get rid of.
I forgot we had Vorm.
Me too. I looked at the roster today. I went on Spurs website now just to make sure that I had everybody in mind.
Okay.
He's gone. I mean, because Gazaniga will be back. I don't know if there's a player in this. I don't know if we have a lot of Deadwood outside of those 4. I think the rest of the players need a full season, because at the end of the day, I think a player like Ben Davis isn't good enough to be in our team. But if you sell Ben Davis, then you have to buy 2 left backs, and I just don't know that we're going to do that. We've got big marks at left back and right back.
Yeah, we do. I think that's definitely, it's been our problem position since Walker left. It's been a problem, and I don't know how you feel about Trippier, but I think we really miss him.
I think so too. I think that there was probably problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he's gone to Atletico and thrived. He's been one of the best right backs in the league. He's not past his prime yet. I think he's in his prime. And to sell him for the money we got him for, it just concerns me a little bit. We need a right back. We need a left back.
So you're saying we should keep Ben Davis?
I would keep both Ben Davis, and if we can sign starters, I think those are 2 really good backup players. For me, the way I view the squad as a whole, I think, like I said, Vertonghen, Vorm, Rose, and Kyle Walker-Peters are gone.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can keep the core, because Mourinho has come out and said he doesn't want to buy any attacking players. Because, like I said, it's not the quality up front. It's really not.
It's midfield for me is the main problem.
And
defense.
I'm happy enough with the midfield if you can use Ndombele, Sissoko, Winks, Jedson Fernandez, Lamela, maybe Dele Alli. I think that those are our midfield. I think that's not a bad midfield for where we should be finishing. But the back 4, especially the wing backs, I think are what we need to work on. So a right back and a left back for me is the priority, and a backup striker.
Yeah, I think left back, right back for sure.
Players in, like I said, starting left back, a starting right back probably. We need a center back, even just for coverage, not even if we want to get a starting quality right center back.
Yeah.
And a back striker. Harry Kane has been running every game.
That was a good point, because I was going to bring that up, is how he's played 90 minutes every single game. Like, we're just not learning from our mistakes. He's going to blow his hamstring again, and it's just crazy to me.
When he was a little bit younger, I would have begged him to stay. Please don't leave. But for everything that he's done for us for so many years, I appreciate him as a player and as a human being. Even what he does with the community and fan interactions and things like that. If you wanted me to look Harry Kane in the eyes and say you should stay, I'd be lying to him.
Yeah, I feel the completely same way, because it's like, at this point, it doesn't look like we're going to be anywhere near a trophy anytime soon, and he deserves to go out and win a trophy. And, you know, it would be mutually good for both parties, because we would get so much money for him, and we could reinvest, and he could, you know, go where he wants to go and fulfill his legacy. So, I mean, either way, I'm happy. If he wants to go, that's fine with me. If he wants to stay, great. We have the best striker in the world, in my opinion. But
absolutely. I mean, he's got some reasons to stay. I mean, he obviously is from there. We've got the best facilities in the world. We're a team with potential.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just what he wants to do, and I think we've always kind of put the ball in his court with this.
Yeah.
And he's come out that as long as he thinks that we're trying to improve the squad and being ambitious, he'll stay. And going out and getting Jose Mourinho is showing, I think, some sign of ambition, even if it's just on the face of things.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I think he'll give us another 2 seasons, and then at that point, he'll be 29, I think. At that point, we're not looking like it. I'd send him to Real Madrid in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Please go in the Champions League.
Gosh, it'd just be so heartbreaking if he went his entire career without winning a trophy.
I'm a New York fan. I'm also a big hockey fan.
Yeah.
Any hockey fan be listening, and we've had Henrik Lundqvist, and it's the same thing. Henrik Lundqvist is the best player in his position. He has been for 10 years.
Yeah.
We've gotten to the Stanley Cup Finals once, never won a thing.
It's tough. I mean, he's going to be a Tottenham legend. Like, at this point, no matter what happens, like, he's already a Tottenham legend. Speaking of the handball, let's just talk about VAR real quick.
We have to.
I'm just curious because, you know, you've played soccer a lot. So, in my point of view is that, I don't know if you saw, but the Premier League came out and said that 3 of the penalties yesterday, they said they shouldn't have been, or they got the decisions wrong in the end. So my point of view is that, you know, VAR already takes away from some of the excitement of the game, and then if we're also getting calls wrong, then what's the point of even having it at that point?
I couldn't have said it better myself. It's there to correct errors on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, I was watching the United game, and I saw the Fernandes penalty, and it's anyone watching. It doesn't matter if you're a United fan or not. It's very clear that he turned in to the defender to cook, and that it was a foul. Fernandes committed a foul on the defender, Kosa. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I just cannot comprehend how the official on the field sees that and goes, penalty, and then the person who's checking it can also see it. And so what I think is happening is that the referee on the field doesn't want to make the call because he knows that the VAR person is watching that and will back him up.
Mm-hmm.
But then the threshold for what's clear and obvious for VAR is so incredibly high that the call is still not being made. And so the quality of the refereeing has gone down dramatically. I mean, and what it was supposed to do, the opposite is now happening.
Yeah. Do you have a suggestion of how they could remedy it at all?
Well, I think they should just scrap it until the end of next season. I think you should go 1 full season without it. I think having former players included in the VAR process would be just something to think about. I don't get paid enough to tell them exactly what should happen.
Yeah.
And somebody asked Jose Mourinho yesterday after the match if he thinks that referees should be interviewed after the match, just like players and managers. I think it's a great idea.
That would be. Or have you seen?
Much to do with the matches, the players and the managers.
Absolutely.
So interview them.
Have you seen those clips of I think it's the Australian League where they have the refs mic'd up?
Yeah, brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, that's really interesting to watch.
I love that. And I think making the referee and the other thing that the Australian referees do, and you brought up a great point, is that they actually go to the monitor and have a conversation.
That's the thing. Or even if there's not even a VAR ref, if he just has the ability to go back and for himself to see what actually happened and himself just make the call. Like the NFL does it in a way. I know they have a guy in the booth, but...
I think if you wanted to do offsides, if it's clear and obvious, it's great. But they're not correcting clear and obvious errors. They're correcting errors that are off by an inch.
Yeah.
So for me, the whole thing was done too quickly And it was supposed to make the game better, and it's gone completely backwards. Like the goal against Sheffield, where the Lucas handball, he got the ball kicked off his hand. You're celebrating and you're excited.
Yeah.
I felt so for Bournemouth yesterday because they deserved 3 points,
yeah.
right, for how they played. They go, they score, they're going crazy, and you can see the moment on all of their faces when Nathan Ake, whoever it was, goes, oh, they called it back, and I was like, what on earth just happened to us? So it's making this game that's full of passion and fluidity completely dead.
All right, that's pretty much all I got. You want to talk about anything else?
I mean, I think my verdicts on what we've talked about are like, Jose deserves another season. I think that that's really important that we don't overreact, and I understand why some fans are so intensely against him as an entity, because not only are we bad, but we're not fun to watch. But with there being no fans, this whole situation is very awkward. I think it would just be, even if it wasn't Jose Mourinho, if it was anyone else, I would want them to be given another season, a full season. See how the signings come together, see what he does, and at the end of next season, if we look like we do now, then he's got to go. I don't care how much money he makes or how much we've given him, he's got to go.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Seems like we're on the same page with a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I think you're very sensible, and I just read a lot on Twitter. I love Twitter. I love to read the opinions of different people, but a lot of people get very overwhelmed, I think, very quickly.
Football Twitter is a crazy place.
It's possibly the worst place, which is funny because I love it so much.
Yeah, me too. I'm the exact same way.
I really appreciate you having me on. It's been really fun.
It has been fun. I hope we can do it again sometime. All right, bro. Good times. Hopefully, you'll come back on again. And have a nice rest of your day.
You too, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, peace. Hope you guys enjoyed that discussion with my friend Steven. If you want to be on Spursy Spurs, shoot me an email here, and we can definitely make it happen. But other than that, guys, big game this weekend. Got the derby against Woolwich, so hopefully we can pick up the 3 points. You know, the only thing I think can save our season now is a win against Woolwich. So, yeah, guys, I hope we get the 3 points. I'll be back after that game with some player ratings. And come on, you Spurs.